Okay, so just the solution there to the question that you were given, which is the ABQ. Again, it relates to the units in your Leaving Cert, Unit 2, 3 and 4. The ABQ was Replast Limited in your book on page 122. So after you've read it, the questions there are here. So if we just look at the first question, contrast the roles of George Casey, entrepreneur, and Kira Lucas, Chief Executive Officer of Replast. Refer to the text above. So we're comparing the difference between the entrepreneur and the Chief Executive Officer. So in the solution then, again, I'm going to upload this for you, but what do we do? So the first thing we do is we're going to talk about the role of the entrepreneur first, and then we'll move on to the role of the Chief Executive Officer, because we're comparing both of them. So again, use your SEL, state, explain and link. So I'm stating a role of George, the entrepreneur. Okay, a role is to identify new product ideas that he has, explain what that means, and then link it to the text. So it says there, George is removed from his day-to-day activities but does come up with new product ideas. So you can see there. The next thing George does as an entrepreneur, his role, again, state. Here we have explain and link. So state that he has a lot of risks involved in launching a new product. That's a role that he has. Okay, so he has to assess the risk involved. So you explain what that is, and then again the link to the text where that is. Okay, and I have one or two more of them there which I'll put up. Then we're comparing and contrasting. So now we're going to look at the role of Kira Lucas, which she's the CEO. So the first role again that she has, so state, again, explain and link. Use your SEL. So the first thing she's to do is she has to liaise with George. We explain what that is, and then we've got the link from the text where she liaises with George. So we say there they meet, and it's Kira's responsibility then to talk about, the different viewpoints and so on. Another one that role that Kira has as a CEO, state again. She's to manage the day-to-day running of the business. Explain, so it actually says even in the text, that she manages the day-to-day run of the business. So I'm getting all kind of these in the text. Explain what that means, and link to the text where you can see it. So see, it says Kira is much concerned with the routine management of the business, and she does not fully appreciate the work, or the work done by George. So you can see that again, I'm kind of coming up with the roles that Kira does as the CEO and the roles that George does as the entrepreneur from the text, and I'm making up state, explain, and I'm linking it then. Then just part B then. So part B, we're asked to, if you go back to the question, we're asked to describe the planning process that Kira should follow for the production project, and identify the benefits of this planning process. So again, we're looking at kind of the planning. So again, in your chapter in your book, we're looking at the planning process that Kira should follow. So different plans she should have in place as CEO. So again, I'm using state and I'm using explain. But this time I'm not using link, because we're asked, if you look at the question, we're asked to identify the benefits of this planning. So the first thing we're asked to do is describe the planning process, so the different types of plans. And the second thing we're asked to do is identify the benefits of using that plan. Okay, so we think about the plans that we know about in a business, write about them that Kira may use, and then we write down the benefits that may relate to those plans. So the first one just there that we knew, again, this is in management skills of planning in our book. So we say, so she should make short-term plans. We explain what a short-term plan is. Okay, it happens over 1 year. And then again, the benefit. Why are we talking about the benefit and not linking to the text? Because in the question, if we go back again, it says describe the plan and identify the benefits. So for each one, I'm describing the plan here. all here, and then I'm identifying the benefits of the plan. Okay, and these again are all in your book. So another one for an example at the moment, which we're talking about constantly with the government, is a contingency plan. So again, as Ciara's responsibility as CEO, she should make a contingency plan. I explain what a contingency plan is, because again, I'm just going through all the plans that a business has. And then the benefit, B is for benefit, because we're relating back to the question. So the contingency plan, and explain the benefit of having a contingency plan. It's obviously in case of an emergency. So that's just there for part B. Then moving on to part C. We're asked to evaluate in part C the long-term sources of finance available for the company Replast. So what we're not going to do here is just explain the sources of finance, long-term source of finance. We're asked to evaluate them. So pick a long-term source of finance and evaluate it, look at its benefits and its drawbacks and the difference, because we're looking more into it. So the first one there I stated there on my question, the sale of additional ordinary shares in the company. Okay, and it actually even says that in the ABQ. Consider the range of sources of finances available, the sale of new shares. So it actually even says that. So I could have got my answer from there. So selling new shares in the company, that's a long-term source of finance. So explain then is the benefits. So it's low cost, you have new shareholders with new ideas, it gives the employees an opportunity to invest in the business, and there's no security required. Okay, you don't need to go and you don't need to prove that you can pay it back. But there's drawbacks, loss of ownership because you're selling more shares, and it could increase pressure to pay dividends. So that there is me picking a long-term source of finance, which is the sale of ordinary shares. And again, then I'm evaluating it, because in the question I'm asked to evaluate it, which is just explain the benefits and drawbacks of it. And then I picked one more then. So another one I picked is a long-term loan from a bank or debenture, which is another long-term source of finance for the company. And I evaluated it again. I looked at kind of the benefits of having a long-term loan. So again, the repayment of the loan is spread over a long period of time, and there's no change in ownership because you don't have to give out shares. And then I looked at the drawbacks. You'll need to have an excellent business plan to show the bank so you can obtain the loan. You need to have maybe security for the loan, in case you can't pay it back. And then obviously your interest must be paid. So that's the solution there to the ABQ of Replast Limited in your exam papers on 122. So what I will do is I'll upload this now onto Microsoft Teams. So you can compare your answer to it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.